Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Victoria from Keep It Holistic, where I talk about healthy living, motherhood, and more. And today I'm going to be talking about how to prepare for the postpartum period. So there is a lot of information out there about pregnancy and birth, but there's not as much information about preparing for postpartum. And I've already done a postpartum essentials video, so you can check that out. I go over things like that, supplies and things that you might need, but this video goes a little bit beyond that. This is more the mental and emotional preparation, how to communicate with other people to make sure that your needs get addressed, because there's not as much information out there about how to prepare for that. And a lot of women, struggle when they hit the postpartum period because, you're all ramped up for the birth, and then postpartum comes and you're like, oh my gosh, I need help. So, I've had a lot of experience with that, and this is my third pregnancy, and so I'm just going to be sharing some information that can help you navigate the postpartum period. So during your pregnancy, you're probably going to be talking to your partner about baby names, like what color to paint the nursery, when to schedule your maternity pictures, stuff like that. But something that you should really be talking to your partner about are your expectations for the postpartum period. So, what is going to happen with your work situation? Are you going to continue working? Are you going to get maternity leave? Are you going to return to your job? Are you not going to go back? How is that going to work? How is childcare going to work? If you are working, then you're going to need childcare, or if not, then you're going to be at home with the baby. What are your responsibilities going to be? Who's going to be up at night with the baby? Are you guys going to be taking turns? Or, if you are going to be, since you're breastfeeding, maybe you're going to be up with the baby, and then maybe your partner might help you for a few hours early in the morning, or somewhere in there. You just got to talk and figure it out. It's going to work best for you. And then also how you're going to handle sleep deprivation. So you're definitely going to need to talk about how to handle anger and frustration and being upset, because you're going to be tired and more prone to some of those emotions. So definitely make sure you have that conversation with your partner. My next piece of advice is to make sure you have a list of people that you can turn to for help. And that can be personal help, like family members or friends. And then also for medical help or professional help. So you want to have things like the baby's pediatrician, lactation specialist, of course you're going to have your midwife or doctor's number. Pediatric dentist could be helpful if your baby has a lip or tongue tie, because they're a little bit more trained in how to treat that. Also a chiropractor, or having a pelvic floor therapist that just making sure that you have their contact information, so that if you do have some kind of issues down there, that you can, get them sorted out. And then next, it's important to have expectations for visitors, because there are a lot of people out there, a lot of family and friends that'll just want to visit you soon after you have the baby, and it can be really overwhelming and make it hard to rest and relax. Some people I know will expect you to be hosting. You gotta make sure that you have expectations for them. Text them ahead of time and say, this is what we expect, things that they could bring to help out, things that you don't want them to do. Visiting hours, okay, you can only visit on these days at these times are going to be the best for visiting. Don't just pop in randomly. Also, do you want them to be up to date on certain shots, or you want them to wash their hands before they come and touch the baby, or do you not want them to hold the baby, because you're worried about the baby getting sick? Things like that. You want to make sure that you communicate ahead of time. My washer is really loud right now. I have to wash laundry and record at the same time, so sorry about that. But anyways, the next thing that I wanted to talk about is making sure that you vocalize your needs and how you're feeling with other people, including family, your partner. Just make sure you let them know that, I need help with my older kids. I need you to bring some food over. Could you hold the baby so I could take a shower? Can you help me with cleaning or something? It's really individual, because not every woman wants the same thing. And make sure that you speak up when you feel that something isn't right. So if you are feeling physically or emotionally something's just not right with you or the baby, make sure that you push for that, you know, make sure that people really understand, because a lot of times, especially doctors and stuff, can be really dismissive. I know if you're seeing an OBGYN, you're not going to be seeing them for your postpartum visit until like 6 weeks postpartum, which is awful in my opinion. I feel that women, you know, if you see a midwife, you get seen 2 days, and then you get seen at 2 weeks, and then you get seen at 6 weeks. You get a little bit more care, and they're on call, so you can always call them. And I really like that about midwives, but if you're seeing an OBGYN, you might have to push a little bit more for that. And it might even be beneficial to be aware of common postpartum, you know, conditions and what to expect. Like, you know, if you've already had a baby before, you know, just expect that you're going to be having some extra cramping and stuff. Compared to like your first pregnancy, you might have not had a lot of postpartum cramping. So, you know, and be aware like of, you know, how much blood is appropriate to be losing. You know, if you're bleeding through a pad more than once in an hour, that's something to be concerned about. I also highly recommend having freezer meals prepped for postpartum. Doing that at the end of your pregnancy is really important, because you're not going to feel like cooking, and you might not have somebody there to cook for you. So it's really important to have those prepped ahead of time. So my last piece of advice is to make sure that you give yourself time to heal and rest. It's really important. Even if you have older kids, you know, try to prioritize it as much as possible. The first 48 hours, you really should be laying down as much as possible, maybe just getting up to use the bathroom or grab something to eat real quick, but you shouldn't be like, you know, standing and prepping and cooking like all day and caring for kids. You should have some kind of childcare or something lined up, or your partner should be taking care of that. Also, I would not recommend rushing back into sex or exercise, because your body really needs like at least 6 weeks they recommend, but it could be longer than that. Some women need longer than that, and that's okay. Like if you need to take a longer break, then just do that, because it's important to let your body heal, especially if you've had stitches down there. You know, running right back into some kind of vigorous exercise can make the stitches not heal properly. You could like pop a stitch, you know, it can increase your bleeding. So these are the things I'm also doing to prepare for postpartum. I've now had some experience and know that I really need to prepare for this, make sure I have my freezer meals prepped and expectations set, and I know how to communicate with people, make sure that I'm taken care of. And if you want some more information, there are 2 good books that I recommend. One is called The 4th Trimester, and the other one's called The First 40 Days, and I'll have them linked down below. And you can check those out if you want some more information about preparing for postpartum. But preparing for postpartum is just as important as preparing for the end of your pregnancy and the birth. So make sure that you do prepare for that. Don't just fly into it, because you could end up becoming really, really stressed and overwhelmed. So I hope that everything works out for you in your pregnancy and your postpartum period. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section. And please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys again soon. Be well, guys.